In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 key things for you to focus on in your diet in order to make healthy eating easier. Nutrition is a complex subject, and it can be difficult to know where to begin when it comes to making improvements to your eating habits. However, we know that it's something that we need to get right in order to maintain good health. Make poor dietary choices and you'll feel sluggish, the fat will build, and your physical capabilities will deteriorate. But get it right and you'll feel light, full of energy, as well as strong and powerful. I know this from personal experience, as during my childhood I had a poor relationship with food and I substantially overate. As a consequence, I was significantly overweight, which negatively impacted my life in various ways. But the worst thing for me was that I struggled to get on the sports teams that I wanted to be on because I couldn't physically keep up with my peers. However, once I started to put more intention into what I ate, over time, my energy levels, weight, and strength all started to improve. Now I swim competitively and I'm starting to overtake those that haven't kept on top of their health. So, what are the 3 things for you to focus on in your diet in order to make healthy eating easier and thereby maintain good health for yourself? Well, the first is to consume sufficient micronutrients, or in other words, vitamins and minerals. This is because these support important bodily functions, and therefore, if we don't get enough of each one, it will compromise the effective functioning of our bodies. This in turn will lead us to feeling low in energy. Hence, it is important that we eat an appropriate quantity of each so that our bodies get what they need to function effectively. So, make sure that you consume at least one quality source of each micronutrient per day. The second thing to focus on is your energy balance. In other words, your calorie intake versus your calorie expenditure. This is because your energy balance determines whether you put on, maintain, or burn off body fat. If your intake is greater than your expenditure, you will put on weight. Conversely, if you intake less than your expenditure, you'll burn off body fat. Therefore, it is important that our calorie intake is on the right side of our calorie expenditure in relation to our aspirations. So, make sure that you are aware of how many calories you expend and how many you consume, and appropriately alter them to align with your goal. However, I know that many of you will already have tried calorie counting and that you will know how cumbersome and boring it really is. But what if I told you that aligning your calorie intake against your calorie expenditure didn't have to be so laborious? Rather than logging everything as you go along and relying on sheer willpower to keep your calorie consumption where you want it to be, instead, by planning out what you eat, you can guarantee it day in, day out. And you can do this for yourself by following the easily achievable steps I've laid out for you in my 5-step guide to perfect your diet. So click on the link in the description, enter your email address, and get sent your copy of the guide. Finally, the third thing to focus on is your protein intake. In order to maintain or increase undesired levels of muscle, we need to ensure that our bodies have sufficient building material available. That material comes from protein. If we don't consume sufficient protein for maintenance, then our muscles will dwindle and will get weaker. Similarly, if we don't consume sufficient protein for muscle growth, then regardless of how hard we train, we won't see any progress. Therefore, it is important that you consume sufficient protein in order to provide your body with that all-important building material. So, finally, make sure that you are getting enough protein in your diet. So those are my 3 key things to focus on in your diet in order to make healthy eating easier. And I know that because you watched this video, you're really motivated to achieve big things in 2022. Similarly, I want you to know that with the right mindset and strategies, you can make them happen. So, let me support you along the way by providing you with relevant encouragement and insight. So, click here to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And click here for another video on how you can take your sporting performance to the next level. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.